Hi everyone, my name is Chris. My channel is called The Body Wish, your gateway to holistic remedies, wellness tips, and improved mindset. Welcome to my series, Wellementary, where I connect with experts in fitness, nutrition, along with my recommendations to help you live a healthy and abundant life. What's up, YouTube? How you doing? My name is Chris. My channel is called The Body Wish. It's an honor to be here. I work in the health and wellness industry. Normally I have a yellow hat on, but tonight I got my British earmuffs because my room's a little chilly here. And since I got no more palo on my cabeza, my ears get cold. So I work in the health and wellness industry, and I help people to achieve and maintain optimal well-being. And I do this in part by recommending certain foods that are going to set people up for success, teach them how to avoid the ones that are going to trip them up for failure. I also help to improve mindset. There is nothing like going through life with a higher sense of self-confidence. When you marry that up with great nutrition, that is going to set you up for a successful wellness journey. All right, tonight I'm going to talk about taking my earmuffs off. I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to be talking to you about a problem that affects more than half of the population, and that is this ongoing struggle to lose weight and keep it off for the long haul. Now, I'll be sharing some science as to why people are having so much trouble with this. It seems like it should be easier, but it's not, hence why I'm here. I'm also going to talk to you about food cravings. I'm going to talk to you about a wonderful holistic nutritional system that doesn't rely or have anything to do with counting calories. It's pretty revolutionary, if I say so myself. And even better, it's got a lot of clinical research to support its effectiveness and quality. So today's presentation is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any kind of disorder. That is the role of your healthcare practitioner. All right, so let's take a minute and talk food cravings, because that's where things kind of get people off the rails. Now, there's a couple of different schools of thought. In fact, there's many schools of thought as to why food cravings are generated in the first place. I come at it more from the perspective of nutrition, because when you think about it, food cravings are how the body signals to us that it needs nutrition. We need nutrition. And therein lies, well, that's where the problem begins. I think I'm trying to get to Shakespeare, and it's getting late. All right, so when we don't nourish our body, we're not giving the body the nutrients that it needs, those cravings will stay persistent. They keep coming back like an annoying mosquito that never leaves, zzz, buzz in your ear, right? How annoying. Now, the problem is we've gotten so far away from nourishing the body, and it's not to impart blame, it's because of our, the food industry's got so much room for improvement, it's not even funny. And I got a sense of humor. Played music for a long time, and believe me, you develop a sense of humor. But I don't have a sense of humor when it comes to the food industry, because much of the superfood supermarket, whatever you want to call it, half of it I can't even pronounce because I need to take a couple of lessons in Latin. It's just not nourishing our body. And it's set up to keep people hungry all the time. So they cracked the code on this a long time ago. Why? Because you become a better customer. Yes, profits do supersede people's best interests. So what I always tell people is we got to start focusing in on foods that are high in fiber, high in protein. Stay away from the processed sugar, because that processed sugar tastes darn good, but it also is like it's like the Pied Piper. If you've ever heard of that story, and if you haven't, you can look it up, because I'm not going to delve into it now because it takes too long. I don't even know the whole story, to be honest with you. See, I'm creating my own exit strategy on the fly. All right, so food cravings, we need to nourish the body, and that's the part that's tripping up a lot of people. Now, if you're somebody who is feeling trapped by these constant food cravings, you are most likely about to embark, or maybe you've already tried using a method of calorie deficit, because that's the most parroted narrative. Wow, there's a new phrase to coin, parroted narrative. I see, I couldn't even say it again if you paid me. But that narrative is parroted way too often, and it's because people don't know. Many influencers are going to tell you, I see this all the time on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, the only way to lose weight is to count calories. Well, there is no arguing that counting calories will cause weight loss for most people in the beginning. However, if I had the judge's mallet, I'd smack it right good and hard right now. However, there are no medical studies that says counting calories works long term. Now, many people who use some method of calorie deficit, either in the form of a diet or they're doing these newer pharmaceutical drugs to suppress the appetite. Ooh, I'm out of breath. This is all code word for calorie deficit. And what happens is when you get into a calorie deficit, people lose weight at first, but then what happens is many people hit a brick wall. We call that the plateau. And there's a reason for that. And I'd actually like to show you some science that supports this so you know it's not just me making things up off the top of my bald head. All right, here is a study, just one study that I always encourage people to look up on their own. It's called Stop Counting Calories, and it was put out by Harvard University. Yay, Harvard. And the scientist who led this investigation said that not only is calorie counting inefficient, she said it's flat out wrong. So I encourage people, don't take my word for it, look things up. This is how we learn. Now, here's what's happening when you are so-called counting calories, all right? First of all, your body doesn't know what a calorie is. Your body doesn't count calories. The only reason why people count calories is because somebody told them to. But there's no medical proof, not one study out there that says counting calories works long term. So what happens is when you go into calorie deficit, what you're actually doing is you're dialing back the amount of fuel that your body is running on. And the body needs a certain amount of fuel to do things like blink your eyes, breathe, even sleep. When we dial back the amount of fuel we're giving it, we're cutting back on the amount of fuel we're giving it, right? Rinse and repeat. I want to really hit home on that. And what happens is the body starts looking for other sources of energy, and there's two places that it turns to. You probably guessed the first one, which is fat, of course. It does burn fat, but it also burns through muscle. It burns through organ tissue. Now, it's not like you're going to become emaciated in a 2 or 3 week or even a month-long diet unless you don't eat for the whole month. But you're starving yourself of nutrients, and that's what so many people don't understand. And when the metabolism slows down as a result of burning muscle, it becomes harder to burn fat. It's that simple, and it's that scientifically proven. So that's why so many of you, maybe you've been on a weight loss diet, or maybe you have been on some kind of a weight loss journey. That's why you hit that plateau. So it's not your fault. It's not because you don't have willpower and all this other things to kind of make you demoralize. It's nothing to do with that. This is the limitation of calorie deficit. I didn't make it up. I'm not parroting this because I like the sound of my voice. Look up Harvard University, Stop Counting Calories. That's just one study. There are others. Since I'm on fresh on a roll with clinical studies, I'm also on a roll for losing my next train of thought. I haven't had dinner in like several hours now, and it's late. No more excuses. Get back to work, darn it. All right, so there's another study that was published by the New England Journal of Medicine. And this specifically had to do with the GLP-1 agonists. These are the medicated weight loss options, the pharmaceutical drugs that suppress the appetite. Well, suppression of appetite is code word for calorie deficit. Now, this was a 68-week study. And in 68 weeks, the most anyone lost was 32 pounds. But guess what? 40% of it was lean muscle. So guess what's going to happen to the metabolism for those people? Hi, India. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to be here. Appreciate you jumping on the call. I'm talking about all the frustrations of people losing weight. Well, good. Then I don't have to go into it. I'm glad you don't care. So I'll continue if that's okay with you. Good. Thank you. All right. So This study that was conducted by the New England Journal of Medicine, yeah, all anybody lost in 68 weeks of doing these pharmaceutical drugs was 32 pounds. 68 weeks, that's not that much. And 40% of it was lean muscle. So what that does is it slows down your metabolism. It becomes harder and harder to burn fat. That's why so many people hit that brick wall. And it's not because you don't have, what do they say? Willpower. I don't have any willpower tonight. I'm having a hard time connecting my thoughts one after another. That's what happens when you don't eat for a long time. So talk about food cravings. I'm having a ton of them right now. All right, so if counting calories is not all it's cracked up to be, and there are no medical studies that show it actually works long term, what other options do we have? Well, I'm glad you didn't ask, so I'm going to answer it for you anyway. There is an amazing holistic system. It's called a 30-day reset, and what it does is it addresses what I call the culprits to excessive weight gain and poor health in general. And I'm going to show you a really cool slide. All right, let's slide over into it. This is called the 30-day reset. And what this system does is it addresses nutritional deficiency, toxicity in the body, and stress. Nothing to do with counting calories. That's all obsolete science. And when this system was created, the whole idea was to dial back the amount of food you eat, but without dialing back the amount of nutrition. All right. Let me give you a quick summary of what these products do, and then I'll go a little further into it, and I'll share some science to bring out the science nerd in you. So the big canister in the middle is superfoods. This is what we're going to take for the first 6 days of each week. This is going to help make up for the nutrients that sadly are no longer abundant in our store-bought foods. What a drag. The two small containers in the upper left are adaptogens. Adaptogens help us to recover from stress. Yahoo! And the two canisters on the far left, those are what we're going to take on a day of intermittent nutritional fasting. Now, I want to show you some science behind this because I always like leading with science versus give you my opinion of how the sun spins around the earth. This system was tested against the Mediterranean diet. All right, the Mediterranean is the gold staple for weight loss options in the United States. It's been voted the #1 diet in America 7 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. Check out how this Mediterranean diet failed against the 30-day system. Those who are on the 30-day system lost 56% more more weight than those on the Mediterranean, twice as much visceral fat. That's the stubborn fat down in the belly area. That's also the fat that stores toxins when the body can't eliminate them. Uh-oh, we don't want those. 41% drop in food cravings. How does that sound to you folks who are struggling with food noise? Sounds pretty darn good to me. 25% improvement in gut health. And then my favorite stat, 6 to 9% more lean muscle. This was the first of 7 studies, and this was only in 8 weeks. So it performed crazy better than the Mediterranean diet. I'll show you how simple and crazy this is to implement in your day-to-day. So 3 core products. The first one is the superfoods. For less than a Starbucks, the superfoods, which are made just like a smoothie, you get all 90 key nutrients. These are low glycemic. These are not going to spike your sugar level. 36 grams of protein either way or plant-based. Gluten-free, essential vitamins and minerals, soy-free, number of delicious flavors. I love Dutch chocolate. I love strawberry. I love French vanilla. Vanilla chai, the list goes on. Mocha, yeah, more mocha for my friends. But seriously, this is so easy. This is great for people with busy schedules. And I'm happy to say you don't get all the junk that you get in so much foods like microbial activity, heavy metals, fungicides, herbicides, pesticides, dioxins, PCBs, and forever chemicals. Sorry, none of that junk in these products. These products are very meticulously and rigorously scanned for a lot of these awful chemicals that are so freely abundant in our store-bought foods. Something's wrong with this picture. All right, so for the first 6 days, we're going to replace 2 of our 3 meals with these superfoods. So we flood our body with the nutrients that it's been missing. And then on the 7th day, we're going to do a day of intermittent nutritional fasting. Now, this product here has 16 detoxifying herbs, aloe vera, peppermint, yellow dock, burdock, raspberry, bilberry, blueberry, and many others. And what these do is they help the liver more efficiently get rid of these awful contaminants that we're exposed to. I wish I had better news, but unfortunately, the environment has gotten more contaminated over the decades. So, a lot more junk swirling around in the air, the water, and unfortunately, in our foods. So, this product was clinically proven to get rid of these awful contaminants and lower inflammation. All right. Third and final product comes in the form of adaptogens. If you're not familiar with adaptogens, these help us to recover from stress. They bring us back to a place called homeostasis. I remember my time in homeostasis. There's your lesson in Latin for the evening. Homeostasis is a sense of feeling grounded again. So when you're stressed out, adaptogens help to take the edge off. All right, sign me up. Adaptogens also help to perk our mental clarity when we're feeling tired and sluggish. So, all in all, an incredibly effective system, and it's super darn easy to implement. Notice not once I said, you have to count calories. It's the only way to lose weight. That's a bunch of hogwash. It's outdated science. So, this system works like nobody's business, not because I say so, not because the company says so, but because of the clinical studies. So, what exactly are clinical studies? That's a term we hear thrown around like a tossed salad so much. Well, a human clinical trial in particular is studies that are done on people, obviously. Now, they're not done on Martians or cows or monkeys. A human clinical trial is the highest level of medical investigation there is. There is nothing higher. And the reason why the company gets these done at universities is it ensures that the studies are unbiased. See, there's a lot of wiggle room in the food industry, in the health and wellness industry, to make false claims. But if you get your products tested at a university, there's no way in heck you're going to get biased studies in your favor. So it is a risk for the company to do this. But if they're 100% confident in what they're doing, they're willing to take that risk. Now, in that same spirit of transparency, when these tests are done, the data is compiled and it's submitted to a number of medical journals for publication. And it's very hard to get published. You don't just call up, the Obesity Journal or Frontiers Nutrition and say, hey, we just finished our study. We'd like to see it in the next edition. It doesn't work that way. The data has to be presented to a panel who work for the journal. They will reject 90% of what's submitted to them on the basis that the data is not compelling enough. So in other words, they politely tell you to go take a walk east until your hat floats in a nice way. So this company has never had that problem. To date, in 23 years now, they've had 24 human clinical trials published in the top medical journals. All of that is good because I don't have to get my pom-poms out and say, this product is so good and, this company is so good. See, that's all anecdotal marketing. There's a ton of that. There's tons of opinions out there on why something works or doesn't work. But when you go this route and you get clinical trials done and published in medical journals, the science is irrefutable. It stands up on its own. So that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this, because the science is pretty darn impressive. In fact, no company out there has these kinds of studies showing the effectiveness and quality. So if you or somebody you know is struggling with excessive weight gain, maybe you've done God knows how many different diets, maybe you're doing these pharmaceutical drugs. I know they can cause a lot of side effects. This is definitely worth taking a look at. Sometimes in life we don't know what we don't know unless we take that extra step and we do some investigation on our own. So you're in luck. I'm going to show you a resource which you can also get from my home channel here, The Body Wish on YouTube. But you can also take a screenshot here if you are ready and willing. It's called thebodywish.wordpress.com. And if you go up to the menu, go to products, click on nutritional system, and it's got all the goods that you could ever ask for. Lots of good information, much of which I've just covered, along with a 3-minute video that goes into how simple this is, a little bit of the science. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand it. It's worth taking a look at. And if it is something that you want to get more information, that same webpage, thebodywish.wordpress.com, has a contact page and a Calendly link. You can always set up a time to chat with me on a Zoom call. Bring your questions, bring your skepticism. I'm going to answer it all because I got science on my side. So on that note, I am going to drop off because I'm way past my dinner time. And it's always an honor to connect with you. I'm very grateful for everything. So on that note, I am going to shift gears and drop out. Thanks. Follow my channel for more holistic remedies, wellness tips, and improved mindset. Ciao for now.